Now, with Roe gone, let's be very clear. The health and life of women in this nation are now at risk.
So that was President Biden speaking 2 years ago today, just moments after the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. That decision meant a woman's ability to choose to have an abortion is no longer protected by the Constitution of the United States. Immediately, trigger laws banning abortion went into effect in several states, and that includes Kentucky. Jim Stratman is here in the studio, as you see, breaking this down for us this morning with the current bans in Kentucky and beyond.
Yeah, that's right. Kentucky, one of 13 states that had a trigger law in place for that ruling, and still we have one of the most strict abortion laws here in the country. In fact, take a look at this map. You can see this put together by ABC News. You can see Indiana, Kentucky, most of the South as well have near total bans on abortion. So here's really what that means. So in Kentucky, it is illegal to get an abortion unless it is needed to protect the life of the mother. That is the sole exception in our law. Patients are required to make 2 trips, one for an in-person counseling session and then 24 hours later for an abortion. Patients must also receive an ultrasound, even if it is medically unnecessary. Plus, you have to receive your abortion medication in person because Kentucky bans the use of telehealth. Now, here in Kentucky, Hadley's Law was filed last session in an attempt to add exceptions for things like survivors of rape and incest, women with non-viable pregnancies, and also pregnant women dealing with health complications. The bill is named after Hadley Duvall, who was an Owensboro native who was raped by her stepfather and had a miscarriage as a 7th grader. She has been an outspoken advocate against the state's ban, especially during this last election cycle. Hadley even joined First Lady Dr. Jill Biden at a campaign event in Pittsburgh yesterday. Now, this anniversary also comes more than a week after the Supreme Court rejected a challenge to mifepristone, keeping the abortion drug available for women to use under current FDA guidelines. And keep in mind as well, the Supreme Court could rule this week on another abortion case. This one focused on whether a federal law on emergency care protects access to abortions at hospitals when a woman's life is at risk. Eric?
That's a lot there, Jim. Now, if you remember how this played out, you'll know that Indiana became the first state to enact tighter abortion restrictions after the U.S. Supreme Court ended federal abortion protections. The state law allows exceptions for rape, incest, and situations where the baby's life is at risk. Now, the most recent challenge to the abortion laws came from Planned Parenthood, and that case is still ongoing. Now, today, there are dozens of events across the country focused on abortion rights, and that includes a protest outside the Supreme Court by abortion rights activists. The Biden campaign is also planning more than a dozen events of its own, some in swing states, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Abortion rights is a major issue for voters in November, and it's on the ballot in at least 4 states.